What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, and welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Spur-Spective, the final episode of the Premier League Spur-Spective, where we'll see who comes on top for this year on the backup of the Predict the Prem, where me and my brother go head-to-head, predicting every single outcome this season. The scores on the doors as a start of was 459 to 433. It's 5 points for a correct scoreline, 3 points for a correct result, and both teams to score 1 point for a correct result, and the star man as well, which is 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist. I had a lot of making up to do, and let's see how close I got. And we'll start off with the first game, which was the midweek game Thursday night, Everton against Crystal Palace, which finished 3-2 to Everton, which sealed Everton's fate in the Premier League for next season. Sim went for 1-1, I went for 2-1 to Everton, and Everton duly delivered and stayed up with a bit of carnage at the end of the game, with some scenes that we didn't really like to see with Patrick Vieira and stuff like that. But Everton, it was a great game of football, wasn't it? And
unbelievable.
Everton, won the game.
Yeah, look, 2-0 up Palace were at half time, and you're thinking, wow, Everton going to Arsenal on the last day, they're in big trouble. And I think, would they have gone down if they had lost this, seeing results, what happened on the final day? No, they wouldn't, because Burnley lost.
Yeah.
So probably would have been safe anyway. But at the time, you're thinking, wow, they're in deep trouble, Everton, when they're 2-0 down as well. If you saw the second goal they conceded, what an absolute mess that was.
Yeah.
One of the worst pieces of defending I've ever seen for that second goal from Everton. But they clawed it back. Dele Alli came on, saved the day. And he's like a cult hero all of a sudden because of that 45-minute performance, Dele. Yeah. Fair play to him. I'm happy for him to get some love for once. And he pulled out the bag for them, although I don't think he scored or assisted.
No, he didn't, but he did play well.
Yeah. Late goal from Calvert-Lewin got the win. That got them safety. And then you saw a big sense of relief around the club.
I think that was an understatement.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a pitch invasion.
There was two. There was one when Calvert-Lewin scored at 3-2 and fans started running on the pitch.
Yeah, which would have been if they would have scored after that, because it was 5 minutes to go still. Yeah. It wasn't like it was last minute.
Yeah.
And there was a second pitch invasion. I understand that it was a great thing for them to stay up, but I wouldn't call it an achievement. It wasn't an achievement to stay up.
It's not an achievement. It's a relief. It's a relief.
But if you can pitch invade for that, then what can't you pitch? Is there any line to not pitch invade?
Look, I think when you've been in such trouble the whole year, and a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, look at Everton's fixtures in the last 5-10 games. It looks like they're definitely going down." So it was a complete relief for the whole club, a team as well that's never been relegated from the Premier League. So I can understand it. And
if Spurs were in that situation, do you think it'll be a pitch invasion?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. I think the fan base will probably be too pissed off with the team to be pitch invading.
Yeah, maybe. But when it gets to that stage, last game of the season, when you think you're going down, I can understand it. But what I can't understand is how nasty it got. And Patrick Vieira being... look, as much as I don't like Patrick Vieira, I completely condone what he did. The Everton fans were all coming up,
he doesn't know what's going to happen in that situation.
No, he's giving them abuse. He's getting abuse from the Everton fans. He bites back, Vieira. And then suddenly it looked like it was going to get really dangerous. A few more Everton fans started coming over to him. And luckily, some good Everton fans came over and dragged him away. And if that didn't happen, I dread to think what could have happened.
It's scary, because this pitch invasions seem to be happening a lot more often recently. I know last game of the season, they usually have more often anyway. But it's just really frustrating because... you see the great scenes that happened at Everton, like everyone lifting up Calvert-Lewin, all these things, and having a big party, and then finally you get some actually connection between the fans and the coach. It's a beautiful thing. Fans and the players, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what we were desperate for in football.
Yeah.
Then stupid idiots ruin it.
Yeah.
And we don't want these guys in football. People are going to headbutt Lee Sharp. People are going to go up to Patrick Vieira and try and start fights. People are going to hit Rob Olsen on the pitch. They're just ruining it for everyone, because these moments are what fans live for, and they're few and far between now. And it's incidents like this, that's the reason why. It's because we can't, the people high above, they make decisions based on, they don't know what fans are going to do when they're on the pitch. And now, because of these incidences, they're giving indications, the fans can't be trusted. And unfortunately, 99.999% of fans behaved really well, and they were just having a great time with the players, and they were just celebrating and celebrating the result. But a few idiots ruin it for everyone. And now, who knows what's going to... Will they clamp down on it?
Yeah.
Will they try and... I'm sure they will after these incidents.
Did you notice...
It's such a shame. game.
Did you notice that when we were at Carrow Road, towards the last few minutes of the game, they literally lined the away end with loads of stewards because they thought something similar could happen?
I mean, I think if the Spurs fans went for it, I reckon there's nothing they could have done really.
Probably not, but they tried to stop it.
Yeah, and look, and I don't know what protocols they'll bring in the following seasons to try and curb the pitch evasions. And I think pitch evasions are a beautiful thing when no incidents like that. Like for example, at White Hart Lane when we had it.
See that was amazing. That was amazing. And that picture with Harry Kane with all the fans behind
and there was no,
that's what football's all about.
There was no Man United players attacked. No, the manager, no, Mourinho wasn't attacked or anything like that. It was absolutely fine. So why do these idiots have to turn it into something nasty? It's so annoying and ridiculous and shameful. And these people, like, if you can't behave yourselves, you shouldn't be at the ground. And that's the reality.
At the end of the day, you're going onto the pitch for a momentous celebratory occasion. And
why you bring negativity into it? Why are they what are they thinking though? You're there to celebrate the result and what's happened, and then
these people obviously intoxicated with alcohol and maybe other substances as well, and they can't handle it. Obviously,
it's just annoying. Anyway.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Aston Villa against Burnley. Finished 1-1 on the night. I went 1-1, so I get 5 points in this one. Sim going for 2-1 to Aston Villa. It gave Burnley a fighting chance for the last game of the season, but obviously wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, but Nick Pope had a brilliant game in this one again, and he kept it level, got them the point. It looked like at this point as well that it might have been enough to keep them up because Leeds going away at Brentford, they haven't been in good form. Brentford have been playing well, and Burnley thought even if they lost in the last game, this point could be enough, but wasn't to be. We'll get into that in a sec.
Yeah. So moving on to Chelsea against Leicester again, finished 1-1. I went for 1-1. You went for 2-2. So you get 3 points. I get 5 points for this one. And I didn't really watch the game because I was watching the Everton game. But did you see much of it?
Yeah, I was also watching the Everton game. But a slow end to the season for Chelsea continued after that. Apparently, they only had eight home wins this whole season, Chelsea. 8 wins at home the whole season.
Shocking.
Out of 19 games.
That's shocking.
So yeah, not good at all. And they ended, well, actually they had one more home game after this, but poor end to the season for Chelsea, and we'll see what the future brings for them because we don't really know.
Yeah, apparently it needs to be confirmed by the end of this month, or very bad things could happen to them.
Yeah, I mean I can't keep up. Every day I'm hearing different things. This one, there's a snag here, snag there. Oh, it's going through. No, it's not going through.
It hasn't gone through yet.
Yeah, I know.
We're already in the 24th of May.
I know. So I don't know what's going on there.
And also, I've heard these rumours. I don't know how true it is, but they're saying if Chelsea don't get taken over by the end of the month, they're going to have to drop out the Champions League, and fifth gets Champions League.
Yeah, that's what Arsenal fans are spreading. I don't know. I don't think it's true, but we'll see. Maybe it is. I've read it's not true.
Do you hope it's true or not true?
I hope it's not true. Go on, Arsenal in the CL.
Let's move on to the last game, last day of the season. And we'll start with Arsenal against Everton, which is 5-1 to Arsenal on the day. You went 0-0. I went 1-0 to Arsenal, so I got a point there. But this game ultimately meant absolutely nothing. Yep. And it's probably for Arsenal the most depressing 5-1 win victory they've ever had.
Probably. I don't know what the atmosphere was like there, but I can't imagine it would have been too
I actually saw some videos from the stadium, and they had like a marching band in the concourse and stuff like that. It felt like they were proper celebrating Europa League, so happy days.
Of course, yeah. Let them celebrate it. They can celebrate their Thursday night football. Look, they won 5-1. Fair play. Look, they got the win, but didn't mean anything at all. They wasted. Look, classic Arsenal, pressure's off, and then they turn up. And let's be honest as well, Everton probably spent 3 days drinking their asses off.
Yeah, when I saw,
you know what I mean.
When I saw the videos of the Everton players in the dressing room and the speech from Lampard, it felt like they were drinking beer. I mean, they definitely went on a big one that night, and probably the next night as well. Yeah, it was done for them.
I know there was no Richarlison as well. I don't think Calvert-Lewin played either. So
no, Calvert-Lewin did play.
Okay, so there's no Richarlison. I know that for sure.
And Dele Alli started, and he got in a bit of handbags with Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, apparently
I saw the tweet saying he said North London is white to him.
Damn right, that probably triggered Xhaka no end. So look, 5-1, but doesn't mean anything, mate.
Yeah. Brentford against Leeds in a very pivotal game in the relegation fight. It finished 2-1 to Leeds. Massive result for them that kept them in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Sim went 1-1. I went 2-1 to Brentford. And against all odds, Leeds stayed in the Premier League.
Fair play to them. Everyone was thinking Brentford would probably take the win with the form they're in, but Leeds turned up. They got the penalty. Rafinha scored it, and then there was an equaliser there, but there was at no point, because I think Newcastle scored fairly early against Burnley, so at no point were they actually in the relegation zone throughout the day.
Yeah.
But the last minute winner just made sure of it, made sure they stayed up. Harrison with a deflective effort, and we're going to be seeing them next season. And I'm happy about that, to be honest. I'm happy Leeds are still in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Brighton against West Ham, which was a big game for West Ham in terms of Europa League qualification. It finished 3-1 to Brighton. Like I said, both of us going for 2-1 to West Ham. West Ham go 1-0 up and then just completely threw it away. And West Ham have now not beaten Brighton since they came into the Premier League.
Yeah, and if they would have got the win, they would have been playing Europa League football, because United went on to lose. So it must be a bit of gutting in the end. It was a great goal. I don't know if you saw Antonio's goal.
I did. Yeah, it was a really good goal.
Brilliant finish to give them a lead, but they couldn't hang on to it. Brighton's strong finish continued. What an end to the season they've had. Ever since they beat Arsenal, they've literally gone on a really good run, haven't they? So fair play to them. They got a top half finish, and I think that Graham Potter can be very proud of his season and what he's done with Brighton. That must be their highest. That must be their highest ever finish in the Premier League.
Where'd they finish?
They finished, I believe was it 9th or 8th? No, 8th was Wolves. No, they finished 9th. They finished above Wolves in the end.
Wow.
So that's very impressive.
Leicester finished in 8th. Wow.
Leicester finished in 8th, a very strong end to the season for Leicester. But yeah, Brighton, 51 points over 38 games. Very impressive for them, and Potter's done a great job. It must be their first ever top half finish in the Premier League for them. So very well done to them.
All right. And also on the
Conference League,
on the side note, West Ham and the Conference League, in my opinion, really suit each other down to a T. So happy days.
Definitely. I think it must be a bit of a downer for them, because although, European football's good, which is true, but they did get to the Europa League semi-final. So from that, it's almost like it's almost guaranteed now that they can't have a better season next season now. Pretty much.
It is guaranteed, and
unless they finish
top 4.
Yeah, they can't. It's impossible, because when you get to a European semi-final, it's pretty much only downhill from there. So I reckon there could be a bit of a fall-off next season for West Ham.
They went from 1 game away from Champions League, or 2 games away from Champions League, to back to the Conference
League. So that must be gutting.
Yeah.
And for people like Declan Rice and stuff, this is where your head starts to turn. So that's what happened to Kane.
I think Declan Rice's head was already turning, you know what I mean? And they offered him that crazy contract, 8 years or whatever it was. If he didn't want to sign it then, he's definitely not signing it now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if he hangs around in the summer.
Next up is Burnley against Newcastle. The other game in the relegation scrap finished 2-1 to Newcastle, which sealed Burnley's fate into the Championship next season. You went 1-0 to Newcastle, you get a point there. I went 1-0 to Burnley, so I get 0 points there. And I'm not going to lie, I'm happy to see the back of them.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I mean, those trips to Burnley where, especially this season's perfect
We managed to swerve 3 of them this season.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I've had enough of those, honestly. And it's never a nice game, you know what I mean? It's always like, you always know you're in for it, but it's like always a physical game. The football's awful. And they just didn't have the quality. And everyone said that sacking Sean Dyche sealed their fate. And for a time, it didn't look right, but maybe it did, because maybe you can blame Dyche for them going down, but they've had a great run, haven't they? Let's be honest.
6 years, I think it is.
They came up in 2016. So, 6 years. For a team like Burnley, that's a good run.
Yeah.
But it was never going to last forever, I always felt, with a club like Burnley. I think this shows what an amazing job Sean Dyche did to have him in the Premier League for that amount of time. And I never thought they were going to have the quality to beat Newcastle, because Newcastle are in great form right now. So I always thought it was defeat. It was whether Leeds were going to lose or not, which would save them, but it didn't happen for them. So Burnley will be in the Championship next season. I got a feeling it might be a while to see them again.
Yeah.
But then again, they do have, I don't know, is Weghorst going to leave? Is Cornet going to leave? They do have some good players there. But apparently they're in very bad financial issues now.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So if that's the case, they're going to have to lose a lot of players probably.
Yeah. And also, with Leeds, both of them were in similar situations. They both sacked their managers. Bielsa left, March came in and turned it around, and Burnley didn't even hire a manager, did they? So
No, but yeah, it's true. But they were on a good run. But the last 4 games, they've lost 3 and drawn 1, and that's probably cost them in the end.
All right, let's move on to Chelsea against Watford. Finished 2-1 to Chelsea in their last game of the season. Both of us going 3-0 to Chelsea. And, Chelsea go 1-0 up. Watford equalised really late on, and then Chelsea just about nicked the win at the end.
Yeah, Dan Gosling, I thought it was, wasn't it, with the equaliser. Then Kai Havertz got the... No, it was Ross Barkley, wasn't he, who got the late goal. Must be his first goal in a long time, Ross Barkley. I can't believe he's still there.
First appearance in a long time.
Yeah, he's just... I'm very surprising, but he got the goal. So... Fair look, they got the win. Obviously, we were not looking to overtake them, but we could have finished level points with them if they would have lost. But that was always going to be unlikely. But it was a starting end to the season if them ended with a win. But I don't know. Everything's very, very up in the air with Chelsea at the moment. Obviously, if you're looking for a team in the top 3 who's got a chink in the armour, they definitely do. Considering how they left the season.
Well, seeing as we finished so close to them in points this season, we got to be looking to overtake them next season.
Definitely, but if their ownership does go through and everything, and they do have money to spend, they do have a stronger squad right now than us. So they're starting from a strong starting point. Obviously, Tuchel as well is doing a great job there, even though they ended the season badly. But who knows what the situation financially is going to be in the summer? Will they have all that money to spend? They did spend massive last summer, didn't they? And the summer before that. So what they're going to do again this summer remains to be seen. Even
with the new ownership, it's probably irrelevant what they've done in the past.
I don't know, because FFP and everything. I don't know. I don't really know what the situation would be. Whether this guy is going to be like Abramovich, where he's just giving the blank check and just whatever you want, or is he going to be a bit more prudent? It's going to be interesting to see what's going on with Chelsea, but they definitely had a starting end to the season, but that was definitely down to external factors, you've got to say. It must have been a big distraction, all the sanctions and everything.
It seemed like, because as soon as that news came out there, they had a little, they kept it going for a few more weeks, and after that, it just seemed to fall off a cliff, Chelsea.
Yeah.
But
big
anyway,
losses, they had big home losses, and 8 wins at home in
that's
whole
ridiculous
season,
for a team like Chelsea. Both of us had them down as title winners before the season.
Yeah, and they started off like they were going to be title winners as well. Had a really strong start.
Lukaku was on fire, and he actually he's finished the season quite well. Lukaku,
he has finished the season well, and I actually think he'll be there next season. I don't think he's going to leave in the summer, because I don't think Inter have the money to sign him. So I do think he's going to stay there. And maybe they'll be reinvigorated. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, it's all very uncertain for Chelsea.
Absolutely. Crystal Palace against Manchester United finished 1-0 to Palace with a Wilfred Zaha goal. Both of us went for Palace wins, but 2-1, so a point each in that one. Man U finished the season pretty much as they've been playing for the majority of it, to be honest.
Yeah, they're lucky that West Ham couldn't go over the line, because they'd be in Conference League otherwise. So they got away with that. Europa League. I was thinking about this. Has Cristiano Ronaldo ever played in Europa League in his career?
Maybe for Sporting Lisbon or something when he was first coming through, but
even then, yeah,
he didn't for Man United. When he was there.
Not one
he didn't
season
for Real Madrid, and no, he didn't for Juve.
So it's mad. Now, what a run that is.
Yeah.
Not playing 1 year in Europa League.
Yeah.
Well, if he's going to stay next season, that's what he's going to be doing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the summer. But yeah, they're good. Look, they're going to be in Europa League. It's probably not the end of the world, considering they could have been in Conference League, and they've got 2 chances now to get back in Champions League next season under Ten Hag. And I think Ten Hag got to the final of Europa League, didn't he? Losing to Mourinho when he was Ajax manager.
Was he manager back then?
I think so. Because a
while ago.
Because the next season, didn't he get to the Champions League semi-final? Was that not then?
What, against us?
Yeah, or 2 seasons later. When did Ten Hag take over at Ajax? I'm not sure. I think he was the manager. You
might be right, but was Man U winning the Europa League a year before that we got to the Champions League final?
2 years before.
It was 2 years before.
He took over at Ajax in 2017. So that was so it was the season after that. I say he didn't get to the final. No, December 2017. So he did get to the final. Yeah, he was.
Oh, so he took over halfway through that year.
Yeah, and he got to the Europa League final. So he's got a bit of history in there. So he'll back. We'll see what happens next season.
In terms of
United.
Man United, how much of a big job is it for Ten Hag, and how much restructuring of the squad does he need to do?
It's a massive job because there's disharmony. There's Pogba's leaving. He's got Ronaldo, who's obviously still banging the goals, but you got to manage him and how he plays. He's got players like Martial,
he's coming back
who's
as well,
coming
yeah.
back, and he was not a great influence. He's got out form players like Maguire.
Rashford.
Rashford's been out form for 18 months, so it's a massive job. But if the difference between that and the Ajax job is Ajax, he had a really talented group of young players who he can mould himself. It's very, very different when you've got stars to deal with like Man United. So again, with Ten Hag, it's very much, as much as I do think he's a good manager and he's proved that Ajax, it's very uncertain like how he's never managed this kind of level of job of players and stuff. We don't know how he's gonna be with these players. And that's why I think it was a bit of a gamble to go with him over Pochettino, who we know we can do it in the Premier League with like he did with Spurs. So Ten Hag's never managed in this league. He's never managed this level of stardom. So it's a big question mark. I'm not saying that doesn't mean he can't do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean he can. So it's a big question mark. I can't see him getting top 4 next season. I think it's a big ask for him to get top 4.
What do you think is a bigger task for next season? Arsenal to get top 4 with Arteta, or Man United to get top 4 with Ten Hag?
I think next season, obviously United have a better squad. Arsenal depends on the summers, but I think I would probably say
there's much in it.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's harder for Arsenal still because the level of squad right now, Sancho could always turn it on, and Ten Hag does have a very talented group of players to play to, and especially if they get like De Jong or something in the summer because they're desperate for a centre mid to replace Pogba and get rid of McTominay out of the lineup and stuff like that.
They've got a defence that's shot to pieces. I mean, is Maguire going to be there? Is Maguire the right?
If they sell Maguire
for Ten Hag, I mean, if they sell Maguire, how much are they getting for him?
They're getting money and they can reinvest
30 million or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I guess who's going to pay it? They still got Bruno. They got like a really, De Gea's a class
they've
keeper.
Got good players dotted around, but when you're looking at their defence, the two centre backs, best two centre backs they got is Maguire and Varane, where Maguire's been terrible this season. Their full backs as well. Wan-Bissaka they want out apparently. Diego Dallo, I think he's an all right player. On the other side, they got Luke Shaw, fine, fair enough. And then the midfield, Pogba's leaving, and their only competent midfielder is pretty much McTominay. Maybe Fred in there as well.
Yeah, Fred's been all right. But they got a decent, starting off. As I said, if he gets Rashford playing, he's got Sancho there, he's got Ronaldo, he's got Bruno. So I think I would still rather be in Ten Hag's shoes. But
yeah, I agree.
But I do think there's a lot more harmony in the Arsenal camp, though. Yeah. So from that point of view, you're like, it's not as big of a job to get them to do what you say, basically. But
just Arsenal have a much lower ceiling.
That's the fact. I didn't potential of the squad, as in for next season, not maybe overall, but for next season for sure. The quality is there for United. But who knows what will happen in the summer.
All right, let's move on. Leicester against Southampton. 4-1 to Leicester, which finishes Leicester's brilliant end to the season. You went 3-2, I went 3-1, so both of us getting 3 points there. Jamie Vardy on form at the end of the season. And when is Jamie Vardy going to stop scoring goals?
Yeah, it's mad. He's 35 now. He's got 16 Premier League goals. That's madness. Fair play to him. It's an interesting one with Leicester because they obviously had a poor season by their standards, finishing 8th. But with all the injury problems they've had, Fofana being out for so long, and Johnny Evans was out, Sionchu, indeed missed a big chunk of the season, didn't he? Vardy was out for big chunks. A lot of them, people were predicting them to challenge for top 4. Obviously, that didn't happen. But do you think next season they could come back stronger? Because they were top 5 for 2 seasons in a row.
Definitely they can come back stronger. I've been saying it consistently all season. I said, if Leicester can get over these defensive injury problems, they need to stick with Brendan Rodgers because he's the best manager they can get in their position. I finally believe that. And I said, once they get their defenders back and once they come through this injury-ravaged season, I think they'll be better off for it, and I think they'll come back strong. I really believe that.
But it's an interesting one. It's like, has Rodgers taken this team as far as he can? Because they're out of Europe now, aren't they? I'm guessing 8th. Yeah. So they've been in Europe in the Europa League, Conference League, didn't do much. Now they're 8th. They'll have a season out of Europe next season. So has Brendan taken them as far as he can go? Because he's got he fit 2 5th-place finishes. How much better can it get for them?
Yeah, it's true. But what other manager would take them further than that anyway?
It's also a good point. I don't know.
Look, I think they should stick with Brendan. I don't think they're going to get a better manager than him, and I think they can break the European spots for next season. Conference League will be a good competition for them to be in. And also
I reckon they
Europa
could look
League.
at West Ham. Yeah, they could definitely look at West Ham as a team they can overtake
Yeah.
in the top 7.
Exactly. And also, you never know out of the teams that are currently in the top 6, top 7, who's not going to have a good season next year, because there's always 1 or 2 teams that don't.
And they have to take advantage of that they have no Europe, and that could be dangerous.
All right, Liverpool against Wolves in the title race. It looked like Liverpool might have nicked the title at one point during the evening or during the day, but wasn't to be. They did win it 3-1 at home to Wolves, both us going for 2-0 to Liverpool. But it was an exciting end, wasn't it, for the title race?
Yeah, it was crazy. Obviously, Wolves taking the lead, then even Liverpool equalising. And it was crazy because obviously what was going on in the other game between City and Liverpool and City and Villa. And you were thinking, what... Liverpool just need a goal because City were losing 2-0, but by the time Liverpool did score the goal, it was already 3-2 to City.
Yeah.
So it was funny though, because I think obviously you get those massive cheers in the ground when there are goals going in the other games, and at 1-1. Because I think there was maybe a minute between City going 3-2 up and Liverpool going 2-1 up. So I don't know if word got to the Liverpool players yet that City were back winning, because I think they probably got a sense that City were losing with the crowd. So when Salah scored, you saw his reaction. He thought...
Yeah, but there was a fake score going around, wasn't there? That was at 3-2, I think. There was a...
that was at 3-2, but that was already when they were 2-1 up, I'm saying. So when Salah scored, his reaction, he gave the reaction as if he just scored like the goal to win in the title. You saw that. He actually thought it, and then he goes over to celebrate the crowd, and you see a Liverpool fan go like 3-2, mate, like that, and Salah's like, oh, like that. So that was that was short-lived elation.
I didn't actually see that, to be honest.
Yeah, but then there was that fake score, as you say, that Tottenham have been victim of previously, haven't we? I remember when we played
Newcastle. Or,
we played Sunderland last day, and Arsenal played Newcastle.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And we thought someone put a fake score that was 1-1. Then I remember I was watching it at home. I couldn't go to the game, and I switched over to the channel. I was like, "What's going on?" And it was still 1-0. I was like, "Why is everyone cheering?" I was like, "Oh, why? What's going on?" And then I went back, and the commentator was like, "Yeah, there's been a fake score." I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" So that was, and then that's what happened with Liverpool. Everyone thought it was 3-3, but it never was. Look, but you've got to say Liverpool done so well. They finished 92 points in the end. They only lost it by a point. To be competing on all fronts like they are is an unbelievable achievement. Yeah. And Spurs cost them the title.
I saw this stat in the last, first of all, that brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this stat that Liverpool, in the last 4 years, they've hit 92 points, 98 points, and another 95, I think it was, and won the title once out of those 3 seasons. Fergie won the title 13 times, and I don't think he ever reached 91.
Yeah, which is but it's true, but it was just different back then. I understand that, but you got to remember, like back then, especially in the 90s and stuff, like players were like going out drinking every game.
I know that,
I mean?
but
It was just a different
it's just
culture.
an amazing stat, though.
It's true, but like you could, like it was so much harder to keep up your standards.
It's true,
like back then, like it is now, when everyone's like a athlete and everything's geared towards results. Just different back then. So that's probably the reason. But look, it's mad how they haven't had more trophies given their points and results they've had. But look, another great season for Klopp and for Liverpool, even though they came out second best. But you got to give it to them for what they've done. They get the Champions League. It's a treble. Unbelievable.
Exactly. They can't complain. Let's move on to Manchester City against Aston Villa. 3-2 to Man City. Both of us going for 3-1. So 3 points on the board for both of us there. Villa going 2-0 up. Phil Coutinho thinking maybe he could have won the league for Liverpool with Steven Gerrard as well at the helm. But Man City, they just found a way. 3 goals and I think it was, 4 minutes or something? Absolutely crazy.
Crazy end to the season. Look, for all the world, then they might have absolutely shut the bed in the last minute, but we've been here before with City where you think they've bottled it, and they seem to come up with something, and they got 3 goals in 5 minutes to win them the title. And do you think maybe as well, considering everything that was being said about the Champions League, how many times they've had something similar done against them in the Champions League, including this season against Madrid, maybe that was a bit of a response to that, in terms of like, a lot of people question their mentality, sometimes, and that showed real good mentality to do that.
Absolutely, but it's like for every time they screw up in the Champions League like that, they win the Premier League like that as well,
exactly.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But look, you got to give credit to Man City as much as you give credit to Liverpool, because they've just been an unbelievable Premier League team pretty much ever since Pep Guardiola came to the club.
Second season without a striker as well, and they've won the league again.
Yeah, although they had Gabriel Jesus.
They did have Jesus, but they paid him on the wing a lot.
Yeah, he actually had a really strong end to the season, Jesus, and he scored a lot of goals.
He did, and look, and that's their 6th Premier League title. How mad is that? 6 already.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go back to when they got their money. You're like, you thought they were going to go on and compete for things, but wow, 6 titles since then. Unbelievable. You know, shows what money can do.
Rumours are that Pep Guardiola could be... Well, PSG apparently want Pep Guardiola to succeed Pochettino in a few years.
Makes sense.
Do you think Pep Guardiola would go to PSG, go try out the French league?
It's definitely easy for him. I don't know if it's below him, because maybe he'll just fancy himself winning, because it's all about the Champions League in that league, isn't it? Because they've just won the league so many times. It's like boring all of a sudden for them. They want
Pep
the Champions
and Messi
League.
Link up again. I doubt Messi will be there.
Pep's never won it without the Messi, has he?
Yeah, exactly.
So we never know. Another win though for City.
Yeah,
they've won 4 out of the last 5 leagues.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, let's go on to the last game of the week, or the season. Last game of the season is Norwich against Tottenham. 5-0 to Tottenham on the day. You went 4-0, I went 3-0, so both of us getting 3 points there. And look, this game, we've also covered it to death, but absolute one-way traffic. Tottenham are back in the Champions League, people.
We are. Champions League football returning to Tottenham, and Sonny with the golden boot. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Great way to end the season. Was a brilliant day out, and a very good comprehensive victory to end the season. And with the news that Tottenham are going to have a very exciting summer, it makes it all the sweeter.
Absolutely. And then the star man to finish off this year's Premier League Spur-Spective. We both went for Heung-min Son. He got 2 goals each. Should have got more, to be honest. I mean, he could have ended that day with 4 or 5 goals, but he did end it with 2 goals and got the golden boot in the meantime as well. So big up Heung-min Son. And this year we end up on 479 to 460. So Simeon crowns it this year.
Champions, ole, ole, ole. Come on. Come on, I'm the victor this year.
You are the victor this year. 1-1. We'll be back again next year, where I'll come and take my crown straight back. But
I want to say as well quickly, if you got we obviously have our scoring system, but if you got any suggestions what you'd like to see in next year's Spurs,
it up next year.
Exactly. Let us know what you think about any suggestions about different scoring systems, or how you like to see the scoring go, or anything that you think would make the show more interesting. Do let us know.
All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you, everyone, for watching throughout the season. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.